All right, so if you are in the market for a new roof and you're considering re-roofing your home, property, or multifamily building with an asphalt shingle roof, there's a lot of different brands out there. But today we are sitting down with TAMKO. We've got Tim Willer here, and we're going to dive deep into learn a little bit more about the company, learn a little bit more about the product. So, Tim, I appreciate you hanging out.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. So for people who aren't familiar with TAMKO, can you just tell us a little bit more about the company?
Okay, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So first and foremost, we're a third generation family-owned manufacturer based out of the Midwest. This is gonna be our 82nd year in business. We're in
Nice.
2026 now, so I got to think about that
Yeah,
for
I
a
got to do the
second
math.
there. But yeah, do the math, right? Started as a regional manufacturer 82 years ago. I based out of Joplin, Missouri. The founder, Mr. E.L. Craig, started the company out of a streetcar barn in that area. His wife, Ethel May, came up with the name for TAMKO, which is an acronym for the initial target market for the area, which actually stands for Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma.
Yeah, I
So that
found that out when I spelled it capital TAMKO, and they're like, no, it's an acronym. You got to do all caps.
right, right. That's why everything on every text, every email, whatever verbalization, it's all about all in caps, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, so that was the initial target territory or region for the first plant 82 years ago.
yeah.
So Mr. Craig started the company at the ripe young age of 69 years old.
Wow.
Very very ambitious man. Obviously, I'm retiring at 69. I'm
Yeah,
not.
same here.
That took that further. So applaud him for his ambition. But from there, went on down to the family line to their son-in-law, J.P. Humphreys, who took over the company several decades later, and eventually on to Mr. David Humphreys, who still owns the company today as CEO based out of that area in
Very
itself.
cool.
So you got that generational aspect of the company being a family-owned, national manufacturer in shingles, but also to that family-owned, localized feel to it for that region.
I love it.
So
Very cool.
so from there, we started with humble beginnings out of Southwest Missouri, but expanded to 5 manufacturing plants throughout the United States over the course of several decades. More localized aspect, you have our Tuscaloosa plant. We also have a plant in Frederick, Maryland, obviously Joplin, Missouri, Dallas, Texas, and Phillipsburg, Kansas.
Okay, I didn't know there was one in Dallas. Okay,
Correct.
nice.
Yeah. So with that said, if you feel tips about TAMKO, just how as a manufacturer, with that we have multiple raw material manufacturing plants throughout the United States. So beyond just the plants that actually build the shingles, we have multiple plants that actually look to gather and harvest those raw materials that we use.
That's really
that actually
cool.
go into the product itself. So we're in charge of or in control of our own destiny per se when it comes to quality, product quality,
Yeah.
and just availability of the product itself. We're not as reliant upon third-party vendors,
Sure.
third-party suppliers, as some of my competitors typically are from that retrospect. So
Yeah, that makes a huge difference, probably.
yep.
And okay, so let's dive deep into some of the different products, features, benefits, if you will. I mean, here at Swordsmen, we're doing the Titan XT all day, and I mean, I feel like the biggest thing that draws people is the 160 mile per hour wind rating.
Sure.
How were you guys able? Most of the shingles on the market, you see 120, 130. How were you guys able to get that wind rating up to 160? I find that a little mind-boggling a little bit.
Well, every shingle goes to a standardized measure of testing to actually get up to the wind rating that it does.
Sure.
And we've actually taken that a step beyond with how we've done that with the Titan product in itself. And one of the key aspects to the Titan shingle that makes it exceptional different is we've actually incorporated a reinforcement strip, a non-woven spun polyester strip on the back of the shingle that's actually laminated into the shingle itself. So it's a part of the manufacturing process. It's not installed as an afterthought or after the shingle's been assembled. It is brought online in the shingle plant itself. So it's literally bonded into the product per se. And not only that perspective, but also to the fact that a quarter of an inch of that strip is actually embedded into the common bond itself. So it really gives it additional strength, that reinforcement to withstand, high sustaining winds per se. Titan XT thus far, as we know, has been through 3 hurricanes in the state of Florida alone, with not one blow off that we're aware of that's been reported. So we've obviously had very positive results from the product. It's a product that contractors can get behind and the confidence to get behind, going forward.
Yeah, some of the case studies on the website, you guys should go check that out, are really cool to see after certain hurricanes, where you can see, the Titan XT that was still intact after some hurricanes. Sure. But and another cool, I feel like a small overlooked thing, but once I learned about it, it makes a lot of sense, is like the nail strip is much bigger. Mm-hmm. These guys will hold down the trigger when they're doing the roof, and they're tapping it really fast, so it's can be pretty easy to miss that nail strip maybe. So it's cool that you guys have extended that. So what was the thought process behind expanding that and making it a bigger area for the nail strip?
Well, with the product itself, along with the nail strip, we've really taken a lot of components that we've seen in technologies through the years we've seen elsewhere, and have compiled them all into our shingle, or into the Titan XT product. So, that is a byproduct of just simply, ease of application is important to the contractor as it is to the homeowner, to giving them peace of mind that the shingle has been installed correctly on the roof. And so having the expanded nail zone just gives more grace per se, in terms of from an installation pattern of making sure they hit the mark, and that from an installation standpoint. Plus also too, it expedites the process for the installer as well. So hence why we call it the rapid fire zone.
Sure. And I mean, of course we can't, we'll speak in generalities here, but if they miss that nail strip, a lot of times that's where you can run into warranty issues, right? Like I'm not necessarily speaking on the TAMKO products or whatever, but just there's an extra benefit of like having that larger nail strip.
Like every manufacturer, we have application instructions, per se, and if there's deviation from that goes beyond our requirements, that could falls under what could be more of a an installation issue than a shingle issue or manufacturing related issue.
Yeah, no, very cool. And then again, we have like the Class 3 impact rating, and I know especially for our guys out in Texas, that's a big deal of why we love that product, is upgrading them from maybe another shingle that's maybe Class 2 or whatever, and then they upgrade to that Class 3 and get some insurance breaks. So I mean, that's why we love it. But,
sure. Yeah, I mean, it depends. The various markets where that region may be, where they may get a break per se for Class 3 impact rating. I don't think Florida has that quite in place yet, but elsewhere, I'm not familiar with those municipalities and jurisdictions to know for sure. But I know they're out there in general, and we know the industry is kind of calling and leaning that way, and has been for a while. Hence why we meet the approvals for the Class 3.
Yeah,
it's an actually interesting test. They literally take a stainless steel ball bearing with the size of a golf ball, a little smaller than a golf ball, and they drop it on the shingle from 17 feet in the air twice to ascertain any type of impact-related damage.
Yeah.
For example, beyond that, the Class 4 is about less than the size of a golf ball. That's dropped on the shingle as well, about from 20 feet in the air.
Yeah.
For the same type of testing.
Forgive me, that's the Stormfighter, not the Titan XT. What's the other?
Stormfighter Flex.
Got it. Okay, yeah. I'm not as familiar with that product, and I feel like for the people on YouTube, I need to clarify more often that I'm the marketing guy and not a roof consultant. Sure. I don't claim to be a roofing expert, but that's why we have you on here.
Full disclaimer, right? Yeah,
absolutely. And I think I mean, and again, like there's so many different shingle brands on the market, but just speaking for TAMKO, if you could speak, unbiasedly, like why would you say a homeowner, property owner, whatever they may be, of, why they should choose TAMKO, like the Titan XT or the Stormfighter Flex?
Well, I think one of the biggest assets right now is we know how expensive roofing has gotten. And we also know too that, from an insurance claim aspect in itself, how expensive it can be for a homeowner now, particularly in the state of Florida, to file a claim, and what that can cost them from a deductible standpoint. It can cost them up to a percentage of the value of their home itself in terms of what they have to pay for deductibles. So you got some homeowners that might have to pay up to $20,000 per year for a hurricane deductible per se, versus just crazy, right? It's almost basically paying for roof in itself. And on top of that, you have contractors out there who, have sold a roof to a homeowner. Maybe they charge them $25,000 for a new roof that they paid out of pocket for, only to see, a hurricane come through 2, 3 years later and blow off a portion of that roof, causing damage that would merit a replacement. And the homeowner has to fork out that deductible per se for, on top of that, when they just had this roof installed, a couple of years ago, and in some cases, maybe 6 months ago, and they're already having a problem with it. So the idea is with the Titan XT product is the homeowner is making a long-term investment in their home with a shingle that's designed to hold up to the elements and perform during such high wind storms.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like if you pair the shingles with other accessories that make sense for that property, like the different accessories, whether it's, peel and stick underlayment, making sure you have the proper ventilation, then you're actually going to get those, that life out of those roofs, especially when you have a quality product like the Titan XT. So you got to
that's correct do the right things. And even with that being said, when you actually incorporate all the manufacturers' accessories into that installation, as opposed to what we can see out there in the market, like these hodgepodge roofs or these Frankenstein roofs, as you will, that's just the shingle with different manufacturers and different accessories. When you all pull it into one system or from a manufacturer standpoint, then they ideally a certified contractor with TAMKO can enhance the warranty per se and allow the homeowner to get more value out of that roof for the lifetime that they have in itself. So
yeah, no, I love it. And shifting gears a little bit to go into the the Diamond Pro contractor program that you guys have.
The Diamond certified, correct?
Yes. I just ate lunch. I'm a little slow right now. No,
I know. You're right. We were 4 or 5 tacos in. I know.
Yeah, no, I'm making excuses for myself out here. But go for a homeowner who, they hear someone's at their home saying, yeah, we're a diamond contractor with TAMKO. Like, what does that mean? Like, what is the weight behind that?
So what TAMKO has done in the past year is we really have changed the way in which our certification is perceived in the marketplace in itself. We look to revamp our program to where it brings more exclusivity to the contractor and to their status, as well as providing additional peace of mind to the homeowner that the contractor that's certified with TAMKO, particularly at like a diamond level per se, has been vetted, is a well-established company that's been around for multiple years, that installs good product, that meets all the requirements through the vetting process to be a diamond certified with TAMKO. And as a diamond certified contractor, they're able to offer the best enhanced warranty in the market, which is a 50-year non-prorated on the Titan XT for manufacturer's defects, for labor, material, and all accessories, which is all included in that, plus a 20-year transferability and 25 years workmanship from TAMKO. So that's not the contractor guaranteeing the workmanship for the roof. It's actually the manufacturer, being TAMKO, and guaranteeing that work.
And with that being said, what was the thought process behind, I know you're just explaining it a little bit, of like why you wanted contractors to earn that status of certification? Because Diamond's the highest level. You have different certifications, but yeah, what was the thought process behind that?
Well, we looked at some of our just competitors in general, the certifications out there, and some of the highest levels that are available. And we noticed that there seems to be a plethora of contractors that all have the same level certification, highest level certification per se, and that really just kind of takes away from the value of being at that level. For example, you have contractors out there who have worked years, decades, I don't say decades, but several years to earn that status at the highest level, per se, only to see another contractor show up down the road that's been only in business for 6 months, that's a chuck in a truck per se, get the same status. That's very frustrating to a contractor.
It's misleading too.
It's misleading, and they had to earn that certification. And so that's something that TAMKO is looking to actively stay away from with our highest level with the diamond certification.
Yeah, and the more that I learned about the certificates that you guys offer, I thought that was really cool about TAMKO being able to like earn that status. And it actually means something when you're talking to a homeowner. And how many diamond contractors are in Florida, give or take?
I believe right now we're sitting around, like 8 diamonds throughout the state. Give or take between 8 maybe 10.
And there's only less than 200 in the nation or something like that.
That is correct. There's roughly less than 200 diamond contractors throughout the entire country.
That's very cool. I mean, I think that everybody kind of wins in that scenario. Like the homeowner, property owner feels good about that,
Sure.
of like the credibility of the company, but then it also, I think, gives credibility to TAMKO. Like, hey, we don't just let anybody get to this
Right.
status.
It's an exclusive club. Exactly. Exactly. So on top of that too, and this is something that's an ongoing process with the program itself, but we're also actively asking our diamond certified contractors to be part of our advisory board, as well. So that's an ongoing process to where you just gather and get a lay of the land from our contractors, what they're seeing out in the field, what they're seeing in the marketplace. That can be relayed back to us as a manufacturer in terms of how we can work better to attack the market.
Very cool. And do you all have any, I don't know, exciting things in the work for 2026? I'm sure for TAMKO, you're probably just looking to expand your markets, but any like products or anything like that in the works?
I think one of the biggest things we're doing this year is we recognize the culture and the change in the marketplace and the change in the landscape as a whole right now across the nation. And so one of our biggest factors going into this year is not necessarily releasing a new product per se, but really working with our certified contractors to equip them from a selling perspective on just the strategies and practices of visiting, meeting neighborhoods, going into neighborhoods, and door knocking and active selling out there. I think the nation as a whole for many years here recently got a little spoiled with how things were, particularly during the COVID years in early 2020.
Yeah.
And how that looked. And like the landscape has changed since then quite a bit. We know homeowners are, the economic conditions out there and all the economic indicators are causing homeowners to hold on to that pocketbook per se. And so just helping our contractors, uncover different avenues to which they can still, lead in the marketplace or grow in the marketplace per se from that perspective. So that's the selling of enhanced warranties. That's knowing how to promote financing to homeowners and really knowing how to sell that, and being comfortable selling that from that realm. So
nice. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, even though a roof is a necessity, they have some type of issue, whether it's a leak or storm damage, insurance problems. I'm finding just from observing the industry is you have to provide value. It's not enough just to give somebody the lowest price or just slap anything on the roof. Like you actually want to give them something that's quality at a competitive price. That's an investment for them. So yeah, we appreciate all the support that you give to us here at Swordsman. And I guess last thing, do you have any advice for people who are still, maybe they have a little bit of information overload from trying to decide like different shingles out there? What do you have any advice for them as far as going through that process?
Particularly in this market, this region in general, that an area that's susceptible to, sustaining winds, through windstorms, through hurricanes, and just the aggressive nature that is Florida, because we're very special down here, whether it comes to our building codes and this, that, and the other, but it really just looking at the fact of how well is a shingle going to perform in the elements, per se. You want a shingle that's going to perform in high wind environments, and as it stands right now, Titan XT, being an award-winning shingle, has the highest wind rating in the industry to meet or beat some of the lines out there in general. So really something for homeowners they want to look at from that perspective. They want a shingle that obviously that's aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Titan XT is available in 14 colors now. From that standpoint, that is Class 3 impact rated. So a lot of components that we see across the industry, this copy to some extent, but stands above them all from there.
Love it. Well, thanks, Tim. I appreciate your time and sharing some info with us.
Hey, you got it, Ben. Anytime, bud.
Yeah, thank you.